Welcome to episode 15 of Platform. Today we're going to be speaking to Nils Jansons. Nils has had a remarkable blading career so far. He's had 3 pro skates to his name, 1 with Rems and 2 with Roces. He's had numerous pro wheels and pro frame from Ground Control. In addition to that, he's won numerous contests over the years, including Winter Clash. I think he's also placed on the podium like twice or 3 times in addition to winning it. And this year has been no exception. In addition to winning the EFise contest for Street and coming third in the online contest for Park, he also released Breeze, which was the promo for his second pro skate for Roces. And currently it has almost 350,000 views on YouTube, which is pretty massive and unheard of in this day and age. So we wanted to talk to him about that, how things are going with Roces, his YouTube channel that's picking up a bit of traction, and his social media accounts, because he just seems to be really working hard to build a presence there, and it seems to be paying off. In addition, he's also been helping out at Blading Camp, so we want to talk to him about that, how he feels about how things have went with Rems now that he's no longer part of the team, a bunch of stuff basically. Before we get into it, cue the music. So I guess we have to start this off by saying Merry almost Christmas, because there's like 4 days to go.
Thank you. Same to you.
Are you growing the hair out for winter? Is that what's happening here? Are we going for the the hippie look for
No long-term plans, but I guess I said to my girlfriend I'll cut when the COVID is over, so it's growing now.
That's going to grow all the way down to your ass then, because COVID's going to be around for a while.
Let's go.
Plus, you need all the insulation you can get in Latvia, because it's not a warm country.
Not at all, no.
So you have had a pretty incredible 2020, because you started off the year with having a skate promo that went viral. Then you had another split part with Bobby Spazov for Got Game. Then you had Mizzica with the rest of the Roces guys, and then came first in EFise Street and third in the Park event. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's quite a lot to cram in a year where most people didn't really get to do anything in terms of traveling or skating, or like you squeezed a lot in.
Yeah, I mean, you said it 100%. I mean, for me personally, I feel it's been a beautiful and like super productive year, like all the way, starting from January until now. I feel I can actually sit down and reflect on what we've done. I mean, it's been amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's good, because I'm going to ask you about 100 questions about everything that you've done this year. Right, we'll start off with fees, because that's the easiest thing to go through. With the street part, well, actually, with the competition in general, it was very obvious that some people put in a lot more effort than others. Like some people just threw together edits and did it really quickly. But both yours, for the street and the park ones, you went in, like the production value was basically like it was one of your sections. It was just a short version of one of your sections. I mean, the final one that you won, you had the drop Savannah on that really high, scary ledge.
Yeah.
There was the 3 sole to top sole, and then there was that kink rail at the end. Those were not playing it safe tricks. All of those were like hammer time ender tricks.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like that at the time. I guess we planned it right, and the process, how we went through filming all those clips, it came like super naturally. No, thank God, no injuries or no kind of serious step backs or fails during filming for both of these parts, and it felt really good. I mean, I can not thank enough to my brother Martins and second camera and photographer Caspers for all their work. I did skating, but to make videos like these, it's so much more than just putting skates on and doing those tricks.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you guys have got a really good partnership because you have made so many videos together now. And even with the raw clips that you put out, it didn't look like any of those tricks took that long. Like most of them seemed to come quite quickly. Even if you did get frustrated with a few of them, like it didn't look like there was a lot of attempts.
Yeah, as I said, they came pretty like without going aggressive or too frustrating. It came pretty good, natural, figuring my way out on most of these tricks kind of step by step. But there was this one fish to backside backslide on a kink rail.
Yeah.
And that literally took 70 tries, I think, for sure. I was like, I didn't know where I was. Should I keep going or should I go home and just feel sad? I really was lost at some point. Yeah.
It's one of those soul destroying moments. You're like, I don't know if I believe that I can do this.
Yeah, and when you even when you land it, you're not kind of hyped. You're just like, thank God the war is over. You can go home.
Yeah, relieved.
Relieved
more than happy.
Big time.
And the park one, I was curious because see when you made the street one, did you have those spots already planned out? Like were those places that you wanted to just get tricks on, or was it all very like last minute and not very thought out?
No, it was. I mean, skating spots here in Riga, you don't get a big choice. You can't be picky, and it's either skating small stuff or it's skating big stuff. And that's how I grew up. Basically, if there's a drop rail, I need to do it because there's no other spot I could possibly do. So it was similar to filming for EFise. I had a list of spots. So for the qualification, we wanted to go like 80% in, kind of making sure we're in the finals. And then in the finals, we take all the spots I really want to do and kind of try to push myself a little bit further.
Are there any drop rails left in Riga? Because you've been skating there since you were like 9 years old, and it feels like you've been doing drop rails for like 2 decades. So there can't be many left.
Just some that are ridiculous and not in my to-do list anymore at this kind of time of age of
Right. Okay. Right. So even too scary for by your standards. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, like that one that was the ender for my final part. I mean, it's because we got kicked out of the actual ender, which was another kind of drop rail.
Yeah.
And then I had this spot on the list as like, hey, it's doable, but I don't really want to go there and do it. But then we got kicked out and I was like, okay, there's this drop kink. Let's go there and just do it. Because there's spots like these that you don't really want to go there, skate for fun. But if it's time to work, then it's right there, and it's doable for sure.
There didn't look anything fun about skating that last spot, like a kink rail off a drop. Well, you've got the drop of the double flight of stairs, and then you've got another drop because there was a set of stairs below it. So it's basically like a 3-story drop. That's not fun for anyone.
And the landing is stupid short. You basically smash yourself into the another handrail.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Nothing fun about that. Yeah, but it's
I'm curious why. What I wondered was, in the street one, you're not wearing a helmet, but in the park one, you are wearing a helmet. And I was just curious what your like reasoning was behind that, or if, I don't know, you've hit your head in park recently, or.
I mean, basically, I feel like I'm skating more conscious in the street and in the park, since it's kind of park and more of a playground, fun and games. You kind of have higher chance of losing control, kind of playing or trying something new, especially if I try to experiment with new flips and just go in like using I don't know, a lounge box or a quarter pipe for new kind of spins. And that is definitely not my kind of skating that I grew up doing. And so pretty much I've just, I don't know. I just do it when I go to skate a park, like ramp park. I put on my helmet. Also, because if I train for EFise, that I was kind of planning to do this year, but it all got canceled. You have to skate in a helmet, and if I try to do new flips, I'm definitely putting my helmet on. But street, I don't feel there's much risk. I go and do my thing, figure it out step by step, and it's
So it's more of like basically a comfort thing or a safety. Like you feel you're more at risk in park than you do in street.
Yeah, not necessarily. I don't know. I thought it's a good example to put the helmet on in a park, because that's where the kid's gonna go and train and practice and do their first tricks.
Yeah.
But usually when I go to the same park, I don't use my helmet. I'm playing and I'm in full control of what I'm doing, and I don't feel like I'm doing something extreme and out of my control. So I should put my helmet on. It's like showing a good example to the kids, and I'm actually wearing a helmet when I go skate big ramps.
That's fair enough. The prize, the whole prize thing with the fees became quite contentious because it turned out that the guys got prize money for both events, but the girls only got prize money for, I think it was only for the park event. I was just wondering what you thought on that, because obviously, you were on the podium and people like Mary Minoz were on the podium for the girls category. And yeah, she was quite vocal about not being happy about what they got in return for their efforts.
For sure. And I see their reasons. I mean, it's completely unfair, but I mean, there's not much I could do about it. I'm just a competitor. I can either choose to compete or not to compete and support the event or not to support the event. And I mean, I just went, did my job, and that's it. And I mean, but for sure, I mean, I can only speak up about fees to change things in the future and make it kind of more even. Because having a prize money like over 1K to guys, and then having just a skate bag to girls, that is for sure even, that's not serious. It's just, I think, ridiculous that it even happened.
Yeah.
But then again, somebody let it happen. There should be somebody already in the planning process of this, stating that, hey, this is not the way that it can happen. But there was somebody who let it happen, and I don't know. For sure, it's wrong, and I support girls getting paid.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's difficult to, unless you know how the money is generated for the prize fund in the first place, it's difficult to know how it's being allocated. But yeah, it does seem kind of unfair for the girls.
It should be more transparent for sure, because even now, I didn't know how much I'm going to get until money rolled in my bank account. They just said, I don't know, like 15K prize purse for all disciplines and categories, and nobody knows how much you get for your best trick or how much you get for third, if you get something for your fifth place or not. And it's just, it should be more transparent. If
That's
you're paying money,
So when you win, they don't actually tell you how much you win.
No, I think once I won, they sent me an email how much I won. And when actually money rolled in my account, it was like 400 less because of taxes.
Ah, right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting.
Still,
that they take the
never
taxes
mentioned
off, because it's more often than not, it's considered your responsibility to pay the tax on. That is kind of strange. Okay.
And even not a single mention of like, this is the price, but we're going to calculate off the tax that we have to do. But it's just like, hey, congratulations, you won this amount of money. And then you get it. It's less, but it is what it is. It's nothing that I can be in control of. Like,
yeah, true.
But there's room for improvement for sure from the EFise side as well.
Always. Although it is one of the more generous and rider-friendly competitions that there are out there, because they do seem to take care of their athletes. From everyone that I've spoken to, they always seem really happy with how they're treated at the events. That was weird that you brought that up, because I was going to ask if you had any interest in competing at the events, because you're obviously a great park skater. You've done well in park competitions in the past, like Winter Clash and stuff like that. And I always did find it a bit odd that we never really saw you competing at EFise events. Like, you didn't seem to be like a regular person that attended those.
Yeah, it's first I want to say just big shout out and big thank you to EFise for actually doing this EFise event. You know, we started talking kind of about the, like, not the good things, but it's for sure EFise is doing an amazing job for us as bladers as well. And I can say the park contest that happened throughout the year, it's something different than Winter Clash or I don't know, Shred Cologne, and you know, all the events where you jam with other guys. You kind of have time to send your hammers. EFise is all in, train and be an athlete to lace your run. You know, it's two different things. It's the same when you watch BMX. You know, you watch street riders doing their technical, stylish things, and then you have those guys that are just programming on a street span, doing 360 triple whips and stuff like this. And it's just kind of hard to have your mind in both sides at the same time. And I feel super good in the street, especially now at my age. I feel like I really enjoy taking my time to figure the tricks out, when in the contest it's like go time. You know, you don't have time to manage your mind. You just need to go. Now is the time. So
yeah, and then there's obviously the pressure, like the big crowd and stuff like that. And
yeah, and it can be great. I enjoyed so much at the Winter Clash, you know, that the crowd is just cheering and you're like, you feel like immortal, you know, you're like going for your trick and the energy is so high. But then again, EFise feels a little bit different because all the course is just by you. Spectators are on another kind of, not, I mean, so far away. So you feel like you're in arena doing your thing.
And you don't have to dodge spectators while you're trying to go for a trick like you do at Winter Clash. Like that's the hidden danger that no one really kind of warns you about when you're a competitor at Winter Clash, that you're going to spend the majority of the time just trying not to hit someone standing on the course.
Yeah, but it's part of the whole fun, you know. Yet you're so close with all the people, you know, and especially for the spectators, they feel they are part of all the tricks that being landed, and they're not kind of so far away from the rider and they're skating.
Yeah, like competing at EFise kind of feels like being in a rock band and playing a stadium gig, whereas going to Winter Clash feels like you're playing, I don't know, like a small punk gig, and just the crowd's all around you and it's just really intense. And it could be argued that that's better because you feel more part of the experience, but then obviously
none is better. It's just two different things, I feel like. And I kind of wanted to go to Japan this April, and I was already kind of starting to train in my local park, because it takes a lot of practice, you know, to get all your quarter pipe tricks on lock to lace this 50 or 60 second run. But then the whole COVID thing hit in, and EFise came up with the EFise event, which was super cool, and it gave me a chance to actually get a EFise trophy without traveling to Japan. And so
then you get to miss out on the experience of actually going to, it was at Hiroshima it was meant to be, wasn't
it? Hiroshima, I think that's right.
You don't get to see that part of the world as a result.
Yeah, for sure.
The big question is, do you think you had a chance against Joe Atkinson? Because he's been pretty much unstoppable when it comes to EFise events. He just seems to figure out the course really quickly.
I mean, it's his territory, you know. You let him do his thing. I mean, he's focused on the goal for like last 5 or even more years, and he's there because he put in all his work, and yeah, much respect to Joe for everything he does. But I mean, I don't even plan on trying to beat him when going to EFise event,
Okay.
I would even go there more for the fun and the experience, maybe go to the finals, but it's not where I feel my heart going in 100%, and focusing all on that as well.
Yeah. So on top of the events, you've also had an amazing year in video. Your YouTube channel's taken off. You did the Pro Skate promo at the start of the year that I just checked the stats on it today, and it is like 1,000 short of 350,000 views for the Breeze video.
Oh yeah.
That's an insane amount. Now you've obviously got access to the analytics, so you can see how has it reached that number, because that's pretty much unheard of in blading today. Like even Richie Eisler's, like, was it Toronto or Montreal? Canada one.
Yeah.
Like, that hit 1 million, but it took years to do it.
Yeah, like 5 years. And he hit 1 million, I think, last year or just recently, I think.
Yeah, I think it was sometime this year. But you did that in a really short space of time. So do you know why it's done that well?
To be honest, no. I mean, it feels like...
I was hoping for some like mystical insight there, and you were like, oh, well, this website picked it up and shared it, and that's obviously helped us. But
no, to be honest, it feels like just kind of, I don't know, this big kind of reward, not even reward, but just kind of appreciation. And it felt like, we've been creating new stuff every single year, working with my brother, trying to show blading kind of in a different perspective. So it's kind of more interesting from the outsiders, not always keeping it core, but just have it so I can show it to my mom, and she's like, oh, cool, you guys went there and it looks beautiful and the skating is awesome. So it just feels like all clicked perfectly for this one. We happened to choose the right place, the right weather, the right time to go there, the skate, the breeze, and just my brother and Casper's doing an incredible job on the video, choosing the right music. And it feels like the combo ended up being this super mega attractive thing that people like really enjoyed, and it started popping up in like everybody's recommendation YouTube videos, and it just exploded pretty much quickly.
Yeah, the video is obviously well put together, and it's got really great shots of just the cities that you're skating in, and obviously that incredible place with like the blocks that you were jumping between.
Yeah.
And how the hell he convinced that woman to let him film from her apartment is just, when you see that in the outtakes, and it's like, can I come up and film from up there? And she's like, yeah, sure. That's gold.
And that's how it is. People in Sicily, it's like they are so open-minded and so happy to see you and talk to strangers. Here where I live, Latvia, you can't even think of it. People on the street will kind of avoid just having an eye contact. But here you go to Sicily and they're so welcoming. After filming this clip, this lady actually comes down with a plate of cakes, and they're inviting us all inside the apartment to have drinks. And because some of their family had some kind of celebration, was it something? But she came down, and kind of we all had a little bit of dessert, cakes, and it was just incredible. It was a random woman there, yeah.
I was going to ask about that, because this is the second promo that you've filmed in Italy, because obviously your last Pro Skate with Roces you filmed, was it in Rome? So I was going to ask,
in Rome.
Yeah, I was going to say, why do you keep going back to Italy to film these things? But it kind of sounds like you've just answered it. I thought you were going to say ice cream. I thought you were going to be like, I'm obsessed with ice cream and coffee. But
that's true for sure. Pizza, ice cream, and coffee. But then again, Rome project was great, but I wasn't like that super excited with the spots. And then when we started planning where to go to film for the Breeze video. Obviously, like Barcelona is like already everybody's skating there, so we wanted to come up with something fresh. And then I kind of, me and Kaspers talked about Sicily, that it's just incredibly beautiful land. People are happy there. The food is great. There's spots. We checked some skateboarding and BMX who have done projects there, and it all made sense. We traveled there, met up with Francesco, a local homie who helped us out like so much. He was so welcoming to take us everywhere, like every single day. He was so happy that we came. So that was absolutely the right choice.
It definitely seemed like, yeah, the location for your new one was a lot more user friendly than Rome, because I saw some of the run ups, like the one that you do, is it Porn Star to Topsoul or Elliot Porn Star to Topsoul? And the run up
Yeah,
for that just looked awful. It was like horrible cobbles and then a landing right next to a restaurant where people are sitting, and you've just got
yeah.
this tiny board of wood to do like that. That didn't look like a fun spot to skate.
No, but I mean, that's how most of the run-ups been here for me growing up. So it wasn't anything new, but yeah, for sure.
But
Rome
that's
was
that's
cool,
that's the reason
beautiful.
why you leave where you're from. You leave to get away from the crappy spots,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
not to
true
skate
that.
more.
But Rome was beautiful, but much more hectic with the cars, with the traffic. Every spot you need to go, you need to spend a lot of time in car, and yeah, the streets are tiny and it's super touristy in kind of when the weather is good. So Sicily was much more laid back. We even had to set some days to spend in the nature, and it's just like I can recommend to everybody to visit Sicily once in a lifetime for sure. It's a beautiful place.
It did look from, I've been watching your blog things whenever I get a chance as well, and it did look like you guys went to some pretty incredible looking like settings when you were skating and when you weren't skating as well. Um, so that's, you had your second pro skate from Roces. I guess the question people are going to want to know is, are there any plans to have another one? And if so, like how far ahead in the future would that be?
Um, Probably 2021. I
So
think I
that's you
shouldn't
confirming there
spoil
are
it too
plans to have
much.
another pro skate.
I mean, I can say yes. There's plans, and
Okay.
I'll stay there. Yeah.
That's all you're going to tell me. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, I think, yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, and there's plans for sure. So next year is looking exciting as well.
All right. Fair enough. Most people remember, like, obviously you've been on Roces for a few years now, like after they revamped the team and restarted it. But most people do remember you as coming up, being on Rems, being like Latvia's answer to kind of Chris Haffey. Was it hard to leave Rems, because you were loyal to that brand for, it felt like you were on Rems for the better part of a decade, maybe even longer. Like for as long as I'd known you until you joined Roces, you were always skating Rems.
Yeah, I think it was 10 years exactly, maybe
Yeah,
11.
it couldn't have been easy to leave that behind, because you obviously were loyal to that brand for so long for a reason.
For sure. I mean, pretty much to every brand that I've been supported by, I've been super loyal, like all the way until the end. And Rem's thing, I just felt like I needed something fresh, like a new room for just finding an like joy in blading in general. So even you see where Rems is now as well. It's kind of, I don't know if who can even tell if Rems is still around or it's not around. It's
That is
maybe,
what I wanted to ask you about, because obviously it was such a big part of your blading career for so long, and seeing what's happened to the brand since you've left, you know, pretty much all the riders, in fact, I'm sure all the riders are skating other skates now, and there's been no word from Rems if they're even going to continue. So I was just wondering how that made you feel, because obviously you must have some kind of affection for Kato and the brand, because you rode their skates for, yeah, like you said, 10 years.
yeah, of course, like all the respect to Kato, but obviously, for me or for other riders who want to see perspective for their blading career, or to stick around blading and stick around creating new videos, Kato understood like my thoughts, that I just want to continue with a new motivation. And he I think he realized also that he cannot offer me what I was kind of putting in for him, and he couldn't even kind of give back to I can't say that I expected something from it. I never expected anything from Rems, you know. I skated Rems, they supported me, and I never talked shit about the company or anything. I skated the skates and did all my best all these years, you know. But then we talked with Kato, and yeah, we kind of said goodbye, and I moved on with Roces, and it was mutual respect for sure. And it's, yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't talked with Kato for last year or 2 years, and I would like to check in. How's he doing? But it is what it is, you know. It's, times are changing, the companies are changing, and obviously riders want some kind of something that they represent, and if you don't know what it is exactly, then you might change for another company.
Yeah, like it definitely seems like moving to Roces was a positive move for you, because it seems like it's afforded you more opportunities, you know, to make these various projects that you've made over the years, like the skate promos, passenger, the various things that you've done and going to events. And it kind of seemed like towards the end of being on Rems, you seemed to be injured a lot. Like you seem to have like quite a lot of injury problems. Was that fair to say? Because it felt like you were off your skates for quite a while.
Yeah, for sure. And that was also the time when I was kind of looking for a fresh feel, you know, because I didn't want to go back to what led me to all these injuries. I knew I had to transform my skating, but I've been doing this with the same skate for 10 years, throwing bangers, going all in always. And yeah, it was like 2015, 2014 when I torn my ACL.
Right, that's what it
So
was. Because you had to, didn't you have to have surgery, right? Or
yeah, twice back to back on the
yeah,
same knee. And it stopped me each time for almost like I don't know, 8 months until I started like cruising, you know, just down the ramps. So every time, both of these times that I got stopped for such a long time, it also, yeah, I don't know, made me see more clearly where I want to go, and that I just don't want to keep going like throwing hurricane topsouls and drop rails, but maybe look on the long term and may make not 2 more years of my career, but maybe 10 more. So it
yeah,
all connected with Roces coming back to the market. So I saw kind of opportunity came for me to start with them, which means working with different people and skating a completely different skate, you know, going from Rems to the M12. It's
yeah.
like,
That's night and day. Those skates couldn't be more unlike each other.
it's like relearning to do all those grinds, you know. And I felt like it was perfect time for that, you know, finding joy in just doing a topsail and royale and working with new people, skating the new skate. And it was just like a fresh air that I felt I really needed.
It must have been frustrating during that period, because you obviously seem like a very motivated individual. So it must have been really hard when you just kept, it was like back to back injuries keeping you off skates, because I have no doubt in my mind you probably had all these plans or things you wanted to achieve during that time, and your body just wasn't making it possible.
Yeah, but those plans at the time were really short-term plans. So I think those injuries are actually what I needed to figure stuff out and looking kind of more long-term. And yeah,
I
but
was going
getting
to,
injured sucks every
yeah,
single time. It sucks so much. And it can really get you to the dark places, you know, especially mentally. If like last 15 years, all you've dreamed about and all you've done is just skating with your friends, having fun, and now you get that thing being taken away from you, and it can really suck. So yeah.
It did seem like a positive came out of it though, because around that time it felt like you started changing your outlook on life. Because is that around the time, like, you're vegan now, is that right?
Yeah.
Or vegetarian or vegan?
Vegan.
Vegan. And it felt like,
99% vegan. Yeah.
yeah, it felt like when you like came back and you were on Roces, like you were vegan, you were doing all like the stretching, and it just felt like you were being a lot healthier and taking much better care of yourself. So what brought on all that change?
And pretty much injuries. It started with that. I mean, it started finding ways how to have this body healthy, how to recover quick, and how to stay healthy even when I fall. So I started picking up yoga, changing my diet. I mean, stopped smoking, stopped drinking alcohol, and it was all kind of natural. I didn't, start. I didn't pick up Bible and just started living by these rules. I just started reading and discovering my body and trying to listen to my body. That's not some kind of machine, but my body has to be my best friend, and I need to kind of listen to how it feels and treat it well if I want to skate and be able to do all these things on blades for like a long term. But it all started with the injuries for sure. It stopped me, and I mean, I'm happy I picked up a book and not something that would kind of drag me deeper in the hole of, feeling demotivated and stuff. But there was for sure times when I didn't feel motivated at all, sitting on your couch for like last 2 months and doing your exercises and just feeling like you can barely, like, I don't know, do a single squat, after, since you just 2 months ago you did hurricane topsoul on a drop rail, and now you're just there laying in bed. So it was good motivation to get back up stronger for
Yeah.
sure.
Was there any specific moment that just made you realize you're like, I'm not eating animal products anymore? Was there anything that, I don't know, you saw or read or like looked up and you just went, no, I'm not, that's not happening anymore?
There wasn't a single click, I wouldn't say. It came slowly. And first book I read kind of on this kind of little bit of spirituality and kind of more consciousness, kind of open-minded perspective was The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Robin Sharma. Maybe you've heard. I mean, and that book really made the first shift for my kind of the way I was going. Before that, I was just smoking weed, drinking alcohol, and not caring a single bit, what's after 2 years, what's after 5 years, how is my body feeling? And that just gave me a new perspective that, hey, if you eat more plants, you can feel healthier. And since then, I kind of went vegetarian, and then I get new knowledge from meeting people who were vegetarian or vegan at the time. And then just traveling with guys like Josh and Montre and Queenie. I think at the time, none of them were really strictly vegan or strictly vegetarian, but all kind of more open-minded on the philosophy of not eating animals. And yeah, now I've been vegan for like, I mean, I don't even count. I'm not even trying to be vegan. I feel it's the right way to go for me. And it's been like, I don't know, 4 years, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I remember. Well, yeah, Quinny was still living at Unit 23 when he turned vegan, because I remember we were going out filming for a section, and then yeah, he used to eat fish, and then he was just like, no, he's like, I'm just done. I'm not doing it. But it does seem like a positive movement. Like it seems like there's quite a few skaters now who are open about it and promoting it and trying to just get away from the kind of reckless lifestyle of party as hard as you want, skate as hard as you can kind of mentality, because
Yeah.
there's no longevity in that. Your body can't tolerate that forever. It's going to fail on you eventually. So it seems like a great thing that more skaters at a top level are realizing that and promoting it to other people in the community as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm happy to see that as well. And I mean, you'll feel it after you get closer to 30, you know. I'm happy for the guys who are 20 now and just shredding and don't have to warm up. I mean, I hope they figure it out sooner than later that warming up, drinking a lot of water, you know, having a proper sleep, that can really help to
Yeah.
have your focus and your just to manage your mind, you know. I used to get mad and angry when I couldn't land a trick, and now I'm just feel like, yeah, it's I sometimes scream a little bit, but it's all positive, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, making the younger generation realize that they won't be 20 forever, and yeah,
Yeah.
eventually they are going to have to take better care of themselves. You also use CBD products as well, is that right? Or you've been promoting them at various events? Because I've seen you. I remember, was it Winter Clash this year or the year before? You were wearing like a CBD brands T-shirt. Did they?
Yeah, Winter Clash.
I'm guessing they approach you based on your like social media presence, or they see, or do you reach out to them? Like how do these partnerships work out?
And this particular one is actually it's a brand from Latvia, and it's I know the person who's doing it. He's kind of old blader as well, and he's a homie. So it all made kind of sense. I was down to do the like take their products and use them for my routines, even if it's yoga, and just experimenting, you know, and seeing what it does. So, and he came up with kind of a collaboration offer that I could gain a little bit of, I wouldn't say it's a profit, but just a bonus from doing it. So it's cool. And I think it's good. You know, if I can promote things or products that I can truly stand for, and I mean, that's great. You know, I don't want to promote McDonald's or Red Bull and stuff like this, but when I can truly support the products that kind of stand by my values, how I live, how I see we should live, or I don't know what's the better way for our health, then I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't seem like an unlikely collaboration. Like you doing that seems to make sense, and the fact that you're regularly promoting taking care of yourself and things that are good for your body and mind. So yeah, it does kind of make sense. Um, with the various endorsements that you get, so obviously you're on Roces, Head and Skate, Ground Control, BHC. You mentioned that other brand, the CBD brand. Is that possible to make a living from all those endorsements? Like, do you get enough to support yourself, or is it still a struggle?
I mean, it's how you really look on it. You know, it's if you look on it how like that you could get. Of course, we could get much more as a pro bladers, but I can say for sure there's a possibility to make a living out of it, and it's not a single income. For example, from Roces that I would get and support my life throughout the year. You know, pay for the food, for the living and traveling. But I mean, you need to make your mind work and figure out ways. So I have a little deal with Head and Skate. I have a contract with Roces, and then I have something started to come in from my YouTube channel, and then there's some contests like EFise this year. So during the summer, I would do a camp for kids. I would do some lessons during the winter time. They're canceled because of COVID at the moment, but there's for sure ways, you know, to figure out. And I've always looked on it like, what is the way to make it happen? Not looking at like, fuck, this industry sucks because none of the brands can kind of afford paying living for their pros. But I mean, I stopped expecting anything from anybody and just figure out what I need to do to kind of make it happen. And it seems working out at the moment. it's kind of stable, it's good, and I'm just pretty excited to see what else ways there are, and Julio can be a proof that you can evolve being a skater, then being a pro skater, and then starting your own thing and staying in the industry to create the industry, and not just making best out of your career and then leaving. So there's ways.
Yeah, it does seem like the people that are benefiting most in blading at the moment are people that aren't just waiting for companies to do it for them. They're also looking for their own ways to make it by, like you said, being inventive or coming up with things. Because I know that you obviously have the discount code with Head and Skate, and are they like transparent about that? Do they tell you how many sales like people use your discount code for or things like that? Or do you
Yeah,
ever...
I mean, I can tell now that I mean, I don't want to mistake with the numbers, but it's like, I think every month I almost make like, I don't know, maybe 300 euros just from Head and Skate, from the code. And it's great, you're not gonna make a living out of those 300, but if you have other things going on,
well,
then,
like if you have numerous endorsements, then the hope is that the more you have and the better they are, that they all add up to something each month.
Yeah. And that's why it's a beautiful lifestyle. I think there's not one boss that pays my 1 or 2K salary a month, but I have my, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 ways of getting budget for my living and for my dreams and stuff.
Yeah, like rather than just hoping for it all to come from one place. Yeah, it's better to have multiple revenue streams. You mentioned YouTube. So what did you mean by that? Like it's starting to kind of pay off now? Is that as in because of the numbers of subscribers you've got, or like what did you mean?
Pretty much, if you want to make money out of YouTube, I mean, you can see Lino Life channel. You need to produce new videos.
He seems to have a lot of things going. He's got a lot of ideas. He seems to have more ideas than most people.
And I mean, I'm super excited now because I have ideas of new concepts that I want to put out for YouTube that I wouldn't usually make for my either skate promo or work with my sponsors. And it's not the regular blading thing, but it's something entertaining, and it's really a YouTube kind of concept and content that you can create. And so I mean, even for next year, I'm looking forward to create new videos for my YouTube. And going back to your question is just, you need to produce a lot of videos consistently and have good amount of views if you want to make anything out of. Like this last month has been pretty great for me. I've been able to post a new video pretty much every week, and I've maybe made 150 euros from last 30 days, which is not much.
Yeah. But you do seem quite natural in front of the camera. Like you seem as if you feel quite comfortable doing it. Whereas I know that a lot of skaters just aren't up for putting themselves in that position.
I mean, I'm not. I feel like I hate the feeling, but I just try to improve watching myself every time. And it just as the only way to, you have to suck at something at first to get better at something. And that's the way of how things go, I mean, I've taken down some videos 2 years back because I'm just embarrassed of how I speak and how I look. But then again, I keep doing it and I start feeling more natural, but I still kind of sometimes sucks, You walk in on the street holding this camera and you're just still feeling like everybody's looking at you as you're some, but then you have to let go of what others think as well.
Yeah.
And filming these YouTube videos really helped me to get kind of let go of what others will think. I'm like, fuck it. I'll do what I just have in my mind and I'll make best out of it. And
yeah. It kind of seems like a few skaters are taking the initiative with that, because obviously Montre's doing it as well. And then, like you've said, Ricardo Lino.
CJ now as well.
CJ now as well. Yeah, we do the Thing Diaries. Nick Lomax is doing it. The only thing
Yeah,
is, do you ever think about or worry that doing these videos and putting them out all the time makes you like too familiar or too like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you've got certain skaters who the only time you see them is when they bring out an incredible section, and then you don't really ever see them otherwise. And it makes it kind of more special, if you know what I mean, because people don't see them that often. Do you worry that it dilutes you? Or
yeah, I know what you mean, and I don't think I care anymore. Maybe I sometimes thought about it, but I think I really don't care anymore. I'll put out my YouTube videos and I let people think whatever they want to think. Even
yeah.
some think, "Hey, this is stupid. You better go work on your street section." Let them think what they think. Yeah, exactly. Let them think what they think, and then I'll just drop my new street part, and I'll let them think of that what they want to think, and that's the way of how to go. And it's up to everybody to like decide.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, the level of your ability has never been in question, and every new section you bring out proves that, you know, you're still going strong. That was never in any doubt. I just wondered if you ever feared that, yeah, like you said, if you're putting out those videos all the time, that yeah, you'd worried that, I don't know, people would get sick of you or whatever.
It Now I think it's opportunity to just come up with new concepts and something entertaining even for the bladers. And I'm not just gonna film a camera and speak about, I don't know, something that's really not related to my channel and blading at all. I'll try to come up with something interesting and kind of even show a different perspective and what's behind those bladers. So it's kind of when a non-blader finds my channel and he sees that there's like personalities behind it, and there's more than just skating and the videos, but it's like a whole culture, you know, how my day looks and what I do in my life when I cannot travel and how my travels look. And I think it's something to, it shows a nice insight for the kids, you know, to even maybe love our culture and lifestyle even more.
I think that is it. Like, I think Bladen definitely needs more people that put themselves out there and make themselves a recognizable figure in the sport to people outside the sport as well. Because in skateboarding, even people that don't skateboard know famous skateboarders. Like, they can name them. Like, if you said to just a guy in the street, you know, they could probably name 4 or 5 pro skateboarders, but they would never be able to name 4 or 5 aggressive skaters.
Yeah,
So it feels like if you do that and your videos are getting, you know, 350,000 views and stuff like that, and you're getting these subscribers, that is a way to make people outside of the sport aware of what's happening inside it, if that makes sense.
for sure. Yeah, there has to be, I mean, even mainstream, you know, it's good for people to just bring in new people, and when they're in, the ones who recognize the core and recognize like how amazing the whole lifestyle and just the community is, you know, if they stay, and it's amazing. Even people like, I don't know, you know, some people speak bad about Ty Chris, but I mean, he did great things as well.
Oh
He
yeah,
jumped from the Eiffel Tower. Of course, it might be cheesy with the landing and everything, and
yeah,
you're
that
like, come on, but still, come on. He had his dream. He went for it. He made it happen, you know. And while you speak bad for him, you might as well figure out your bay. How do you can invest in helping to grow it as well? So
true. Plus, yeah, he's like you said, he's living his dream, and it's not like Ty Chris didn't pay his dues. I mean, he was an exceptional vert skater that could pretty much do every
yeah,
trick, switch and natural,
incredible.
and he
Yeah,
did that for a long time before he became a TV personality. So it's not, yeah, it's one of those things where, it, like you said, it is quite cheesy and easy to laugh at, but he earned that position by being as good as he was at
yeah,
rollerblading. If he wasn't good at it
yeah,
in the first place,
for sure.
he would never have got those opportunities. So, um, plus with your videos, yeah, like you said, it's not like you're just putting out random video. You always seem to be working on a project, whether it's the EFise events or whether it's traveling to Italy or Germany to make videos, or when you were in the States for Blading Cup. You've been working at blading camps as well. Is that right? Did that start this year?
No, I've been part of blading camps like for the
For a few years
past
now?
3 or 4 years. I don't want to
Yeah.
mistake, but I mean, been homies with Josh since I can remember, and it's just he invites me to be part of the camps in the summertime. He does the whole work. Josh and Wani, I think, are the two main two strong guys to make the whole thing happen. And I'm super happy to be able to go and coach the people and skate with everybody. Yeah, and
Um,
it's last 3 and 4 years, I think.
were you at the camp this year where they did it like, well, tried to still make it work during coronavirus?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that must have
managed
been weird.
to. Yeah, I went. It was especially, yeah, it was at the time when the airport was completely empty, and I just figured out this kind of window in this whatever was going on in the world to actually fly out to Malaga, do a camp for 1 week, stay with Josh for a couple of days, and come back home. And I had to stay 10 days in self-isolation
Yeah.
because they put Spain on the list just day before I arrived home.
Yeah, that's
So
annoying.
it was,
Yeah. 'Cause you're
yeah,
like, oh, I'm stuck in the house now for almost 2 weeks. Great.
it was all right. And I mean, super exciting that I actually managed to go, and blading camp managed to make those camps happen a little bit different than usually, not so many like diversity of international campers, but still they laced it, and I'm super stoked for what they're planning for next year.
Yeah, I spoke to Josh about it just a couple of weeks ago, and he just couldn't believe that they still managed to pull it off and it was
Yeah.
still a success, because he said when he started trying to book everything, just all the odds were against him. Things were getting cancelled all the time. He didn't know if any of his bookings were going to pan out or be able to work, but it seems like they managed to do it and it went well.
Yeah. I mean, not as they would dream in a regular summertime because of the COVID, but they still laced it, They worked harder and made it happen. So it's good. I'm happy for them for sure.
Yeah, Joe Atkinson was there as well this year, wasn't he? Was he one of the
Yeah, I
camp?
think
Yeah,
no, not in the one I went to. I think later on in the September camp,
right.
maybe. Because also Josh they had some issues with, getting the coaches. Montre is usually there for pretty much all the camps throughout the summer, and now he was not able to leave states.
I remember that. Yeah,
So
I remember seeing that. One thing I've always wondered. Now, obviously, things are going really well with you and Roces because you seem to be happy with them. You're making content all the time. When someone leaves the team and you're friends with them or you know them, does that make it weird between you guys? Because obviously, Joe was on the team first. You're friends with Joe. Like you know you've filmed with him. You've made like you guys like work together on state of the art and stuff like that. You obviously like go to hang out at events together. Does it make it strange when he leaves a brand on bad terms and you're still with the brand? Like, is that something that you guys ever talk about?
not really. I think I last time I met Joe was even actually a long time ago. I don't think I met him this year. Winter Clash. Okay, only Winter Clash.
Yeah.
But maybe we even joke about it kind of, but yeah. And there's quite a guys, there's like even Stefan left,
That's what I mean, because from
Ed
what I
left, and
understand, you guys are quite,
they're both also,
yeah. I was under the
yeah, I mean,
impression because
both amazing guys, like, yeah.
because I can't remember who it was, whether it was Stefan or someone. I'm sure Stefan told me you guys all like had a big group chat. Like the Roces team at the time had a group chat thing going on where you all basically keep in regular contact with each other and check in, see how each other are doing. So it just kind of seemed like it was quite a close knit thing. And then if one or two people leave on bad terms, you just think that would make, I don't know, the kind of like situation awkward with bumping into that person again, because you're like, oh, I'm still skating for that company that you now hate.
Yeah, I look on it as something ridiculous, as if it's if I mean if you're a pro, then you do your pro thing, and you even manage your contracts in a pro way, and it shouldn't affect the fun as we have as a community and as people when we meet each other, so it's just funny. But I mean, I even speak on Instagram with Chad and Stefan now and then, and they're both great dudes. So, and I don't even know all the details of conversations that even all of them had with Roces and how they finished things off.
Yeah, obviously there's two sides to every story, and I'm sure, it's one of those things.
I always
if you're not in it, you can't know.
Yeah, it's communication is always the key. So there's never one side to blame. In these kind of scenarios, there's also always somebody assumed something and didn't say something, and then this and that, and yeah.
Speaking of assumptions, I don't know if you've watched any of the other podcasts. You haven't?
I watched some. I listened to Stefan a little bit, Greg a bit.
Right. Have you listened to the John From one?
Actually, I did a little bit. There's a lot of speaking about razors and stuff, right?
Well, did you hear the point where he mentioned you?
Not sure. I don't think so.
Right. Well, basically, I can't remember I think it was towards the end, he mentioned that he believed that certain riders didn't get paid royalties for their products. And he named Derek Henderson, Kirill Galushko, and you. And he said that he didn't believe Ground Control had paid you royalties for your pro frame. So I guess to clarify it.
I mean, I can clarify. I did get paid for my signature frame. It was not much since they didn't produce many frames. I believe it was $2 per set of frames.
Okay.
So it was a tiny bonus as well for me.
Do you know how many sets of frames they sold or made?
I have it somewhere in my emails, but I didn't pay that big of attention, to that. Maybe Andy sent me email every 2 months, like, hey, here's the sale from last 2 months. And it was, but I don't want to lie numbers, probably, I don't know, a couple hundred frames, but yeah, I could be mistaken as well.
That was quite random because Ground Control weren't doing pro frames for a while, and then all of a sudden they just gave you a tan Featherlight 3 pro frame. How did that even come about?
You sometimes you don't even need to question the choices companies make in our industry, because they're maybe not the well-planned things, but I don't know. Somehow Andy thought it's a good idea because of my kind of, I had, I think, great year at the time, but as well, the color didn't turn out 100% as I wanted, and we didn't have enough time to do samples and everything, and it was all then a little bit rushed at the end. So it happened. It was something, but it was not 100% as I would wish it would go with everything, with the promotion and preparation.
What color did you want them to be?
Well, sort of creamy, but now it turned out a little bit too yellowish.
It kind of looked like the same color as the Kirill Galushko skate. It had
but
that
not
kind of,
quite as well. I mean, I wish it was, so then it actually would fit perfectly.
So it would go with
Galushko skate. but now, I mean, it looked. I still love the color. It looks amazing on a black, completely black skate, and it looks great on completely white skate as well. It kind of makes a unique setup.
I was just wondering about that because a couple of people have asked and they've said, they're like, oh, get other razor riders on and ask their opinion. And I'm like, that's kind of unfair to put them in that position, because if they're on razors and they're happy, I don't want to do anything to get them into trouble with a sponsor they're happy with. And yeah, so I just thought it makes sense to ask if John believed that you didn't get paid. It seems to make logical sense to ask you because you're the only one that would know. So, but if you said you
Yeah.
did,
No,
then
I did. It was no bad. No, I did. Everything was as we kind of arranged, and otherwise I would probably skating different frame. So it's all good. I'm still skating ground controls. I love the frame. It's good.
that's fair enough. What I was another one that I've always wondered. So you've achieved so much stuff in skating. You've had 3 pro skates, pro frame, pro wheels, 1 winter clash, won all these events. Do you have a list of like things you want to achieve, or do you have like a bucket list where you're like, I'm getting this stuff ticked off before I finish skating? You strike me as the kind of person that has a set of goals that you want to achieve.
Yeah, but to be honest, most of the things you first of all, thank you a lot for appreciating. But most of the things you mentioned, none of them were really on a list to do. They kind of all came, especially those events like Winter Clash and first pro skates. I was just putting all in, and those things came out of it as a reward. So now I just want to continue, stay healthy and continue. I feel like I'm getting warmed up slowly.
You make it sound like these things just came naturally or by accident, but I was at Winter Clash the year that you showed up and just went for the 540 alley porn down the scary rail, the big one, the one that
Yeah.
everyone gets hurt on. That's someone that went there with an idea. Like you went to Winter Clash that year going, I'm doing this trick down that rail.
I think so. Maybe I can't actually remember now, but that was the year when I got second, and year before I went for the 540 alley topsoul. But I think so. I had it in my mind, some 540 grind on that rail, but to actually make the decision, I think I made when I went to the park and I saw like, oh yeah, I could do this. And yeah, next year the same. I think next year's plan I already had. I knew I did the 540 alley porn star, and I went to the Winter Clash, and I was like, shit, alley topsoul is my trick for sure. I can do like 540 alley topsoul, but it wasn't like I'm here to do this trick. I was just like doing my best, and now hey, the finals, your last trick, and you're like, hey, here's my chance. Let's go.
All right, you're making it sound like you approach this in a much more relaxed mindset than I believe, but I'll take your word for it. So what have you got planned for the future? It seems like you've got a lot of stuff that you're working on, whether it's promoting Roces or trying to make your social media following bigger, because it seems to have got bigger, or your YouTube channel. So have you got any kind of plans for any of those things that you can tell us about that you're working on or that we'll see soon?
Pretty much for next year, just keep marketing myself and the brands I ride for in like the best way possible. Of course, most importantly, stay healthy physically and mentally to have a kind of a healthy look in the future. But most of all, I just want to keep producing stuff, producing videos. Hopefully, for my next pro skate, come up with something new that we can talk later on in the next Winter Clash. And yeah, keep creating, keep growing my channels, and keep looking in the next couple of years. Who knows? Maybe starting my own thing in the future. It's all possible, and I wish to just stay in blading for like as long as possible.
All right. And lastly, what's the next thing we're going to see from you? Like, can you tell us, have you got any project in the works right now, or you're like,
Probably
stop putting me on the spot with these questions that I don't know the answers to?
No, probably some YouTube things. I mean, there's news from Roces coming up, I think early in 2021. And I got a couple boxes right there with something exciting in there as well. So, I mean, it's
I
good.
love how you're like,
New products.
there's products right there that I can't show you or tell you about, but they're right there. If
Honestly, there's products that I even haven't seen. The box is unboxed, unpacked, and it's been there for almost a week.
how can you possibly have a box in your house that's been delivered to you that you've not opened? That's like psychopath behavior. Why
I
would you receive a package and not
I
open it?
I push my self discipline to another level. No, I mean, I just want to film a new video with unboxing, and the right time hasn't come.
Right.
But it's
At least there's a
exciting.
plan behind it. Yeah. I thought you were just
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
letting
yeah.
them sit there because I wouldn't be able to do that. Curiosity would definitely get the better of me.
No. It's good. But yeah, looking forward. There's probably new videos on my YouTube channel for this kind of dark season, especially here in Latvia. It's cold, it's dark, and the indoor skate parks are closed now.
All
So
right. So have you guys
yeah,
gone back into lockdown or?
sort of is actually like this. Starting from this week, it's the biggest restriction so far because the numbers have been going really high up.
Yeah.
So I just need to sit on my computer and stay healthy here to when the sun is out, when the parks are open, to get back out there and yeah, meet my friends and film new stuff.
And film more videos of you jumping in freezing cold lakes and trying to,
Oh
destroy your
yeah,
heart. Yeah.
tomorrow morning. We're doing that tomorrow morning.
I don't know how you can do that. Just looks awful. It doesn't look fun
It's
at all. I'm sure it wakes you
I
up, but
mean,
it looks awful.
it's yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on in your mind, in your breath, in your body, and it's incredible. Once you do it right, slowly and breathing and patiently, and then after that, getting in that ice cold water, you want to laugh. It's incredible. It feels good.
I'm going to take your word for it, but I think I speak for the majority of people who watch you do that and just think you look like a
Um,
lunatic. That looks crazy.
Note, Warapoy Bonim,
Yeah.
he did it a couple years ago. He came after Winter Clash to Latvia, and we went to sauna and we went to ice cold water. I mean, we cut a hole in the frozen lake, and even Note from Thailand, who's used to plus 30 degrees all his life, got in there, and yeah.
Yeah, but I also recently found out that he became a monk for a while. So something tells me he's on a different plane to most people. So I think he might have
Yeah,
been a mind over matter situation there.
for sure. For sure. Note is a special dude. Can't wait to meet him as well. And I mean, I'm happy to be not normal as well. I hope to stay that way.
Oh yeah, when you do stuff like that, yeah, that's not normal behavior. And the fact that there's a box of products sitting there that you refuse to look at is also making me think that that's not normal behavior.
It's all right. I'm okay. I'm doing good.
I promise, nothing's wrong. I'm fine. Well, on that note, I've taken up a load of your time today. Thank you for answering all the questions. And yeah, you've had an amazing 2020. I hope 2021's even better. Hopefully, we'll all be able to travel more. And yeah, can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much for inviting, and thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks, man. Speak soon.
Speak soon. Happy holidays.
You
Bye.
too.